This week's crystal grid is charged to open and precipitate flows of paradise, wealth, prosperity, and richness into the lives of all, allowing for the divine essence of abundance we all are to manifest and substantiate in form through any and all avenues, expanding and evolving them, and opening new roads as well. And don't forget, on Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, US and Canada, I am doing my live thank you and ask me anything Q&A as part of my promotion for my Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. If you're interested in making a donation, you can follow the links in the down bar below. Blessings everyone, it's time for another weekly all-in-one astrology horoscope, and in this video we are talking about the new moon in Taurus, sextile Neptune, and trine Pluto retrograde. And I've also decided to combine this with the weekly vibe check. So there's also a 5-card spread at the end of this video, or the second half, I should say, not the very end. It's more like just the back half of this video for you to check out as well, just to see what is going on collectively with everybody. Now, if you are new to this style of reading, remember that you can always open the links in the down bar below, or open up the down bar below and see where I have listed for every single sign what areas of life are getting the most treatment, or getting the most energy, or having the most shifts come out of them. And some of them may actually be affecting other areas in your life, but these are the ports of entry for those shifts and for those alterations going forward. I am also aware that Jupiter is going into Pisces this week for a couple of months, and so I will be having that come out in another video. So what is going on with this new moon in Taurus? Well, this new moon is actually very, very sweet and very, very benefic. It's only making harmonious aspects, and it is planting a seed for a new chapter of life to begin. And with a new moon in Taurus, remember, the focus is always on new tools, new environment, new playing field. And this is showing up for all of us. When we talk about a new playing field, a new environment, this can actually be a very, very big game changer, because this could actually spell a new market showing up for you when it comes to maybe your work life, your finances, and ability to generate more abundance, which is a big deal for Taurus energy. Or it may actually show up in the form of a new social space, new ways to source yourself, source your biggest plans, your biggest lifestyle changes. It's all in all a very gorgeous energy that is really highlighting not just this week, but the following week. Because remember, new moons and full moons last about 2 weeks in their influence. The big thing about new moons, though, that you have to remember is that it's about seeds getting planted. And as I always say with all of my horoscopes, you please, for the love of goodness, do not just sit around with your hand out going, you told me this was going to happen, please tell me this is going to happen, I need more clarity, when's it going to happen, and then do absolutely nothing or sit and wait, because astrology and tarot do not work that way. This is something that is here to empower you to actually be able to craft, create, and manifest anything that you want when you get the opportunity. And the opportunity is this new moon. So where are you looking to create a new territory, step into a new environment, get into a new playing field, maybe source yourself with new money, new resources, new tools, new people? This is the kind of thing that you really want to be paying attention to, right? We pay attention to all the houses and areas of life in the down bar below, but then we go to work, because this is a channel for people who are practitioners of the craft, right? We are awake and out of bed. We are not in bed consuming and tweeting. As we get on to the aspects that this is making, well, this new moon is also trine to Pluto retrograde. And I will put a link to the Pluto retrograde video down below, because I don't want to, spend another 20 minutes talking about that here. But Pluto retrograde, in short, is actually doing a lot of restoration work and reorganization work, especially when it comes to catching everybody up with things that they are ultimately needing to have either integrated, mastered, learned, or maybe just sourced with, equipped with, in order to have the best life possible, in order to succeed, in order to move forward. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn is still doing the, look, this may show up in the form of things you need to learn to get smart about, learn how to do, anything that maybe you missed learning how to do, a lesson you didn't learn, maybe it was because of other people, or take ownership if you've been avoiding getting smart in any areas of your life. We all have to pay attention with that. But Pluto retrograde is also pulling things back from the past that have belonged to you, or things that ultimately needed to be in your space. What have you been doing without? What have you been trying to maybe jerry-rig a life without, jerry-rig a business without, jerry-rig a family, jerry-rig a relationship? This is bringing back all of those things that ultimately make enhancements to the quality of life and allow us to actually make more productive choices and actually see more profitable results, however you define profit. It's not just all about money. You can profit in love, you can profit in your social life, you can profit in all kinds of new experiences. And this is where we see a fresh start that is opening old doors and new doors at the same time. Old gifts, old journeys, old paths untaken, and completely new ones meet in the middle. We also have this sextile to Neptune, which is actually very, very generous to everybody because we are seeing this big focus on spiritual connections getting activated and really pulling everybody together. This is a time, and I will be coming out with another video about this soon, where divine and aligned partnerships are very much in emphasis right now. And when I say divine and aligned partnerships, yes, this can talk about soul family, oversoul groups, and of course it does go beyond the idea of relationships. This could actually be a pivotal gift that comes to you over the course of the next few weeks when it comes to maybe, again, yes, an alliance that could be romantic in nature, could be professional in nature, could just be a new clique, new friendship circles. We've got divine activations going on, spiritual activations, gift activations, a lot of visitation activity only getting stronger as we go forward through this shift in consciousness. And you're going to see social and spiritual environmental shifts commanding a faster learning and adaptation process from all of us, right? We are all getting this big imperative. Don't just consume information. Don't just wait. Catch up with your higher self, get smart, get capable, get equipped, get powerful. Let's talk about the vibe check for the collective for this week. So the astrology is basically amping through the entirety of the next 2 weeks, or pretty much all of the rest of May. What is going on when it comes to just this week as far as what we can see, as far as shifts go in our interactions with our environments, with the world at large, on a multidimensional level, as well as on a social level, on a physical level, on a relational level. It's important to remember that this is an addition to all other kinds of predictions, right? This is the atmosphere, this is environmental, and this can be incredibly helpful to know. So I don't want anyone to think like, well, I got my zodiac sign horoscope and I'm good, right? You are entitled to that, but you're entitled to that, but just be careful about complacency. When it comes to the big spiritual theme of this week, we've got the Empress card reversed. Okay, and so with the Empress card reversed, I want to just, bit of review for those of you who've taken the Tarot Home Study course. The Empress card reversed is essentially a message about where we have not been set up for success, where we might have actually been our own enemy, very much in that sort of where have we just jerry-rigged something that's not actually the best it can be. Now, the Empress reversed is actually giving me an understanding that a lot of things that were built on dysfunctional foundations, imbalanced foundations, toxic foundations, are going to start to have not only the rot and the toxicity revealed, but also go through a massive clearing and decay process, which makes perfect sense because you have to make room for the new things that come into your life, right? Overriding, overwriting, anything that ultimately was built out of discordant activity or dysfunctional activity, imbalanced or unstable energy. The Empress card reversed is beginning that breakdown process. Now, is this something to be scared of? only if you're trying to codependently act as an accomplice to hold on to a toxic experience. But for those of us that are happy to let it go, and we all want to, of course, look at our personal journeys, it can actually be a very liberating energy, a very liberating experience. The Empress card reversed is also showing where that which either compounds or consistently creates more imbalance or creates more discordant activity, creates more toxicity, and creates more dysfunction and lack is ultimately getting the pressure this week. When it comes to the Earth area or the Earth sector of this spread, what we are going to be seeing most strongly on the physical, as far as things that have either already shown up or already manifested, as well as what is manifesting or what is showing up, big movements as far as just on the ground level. We've got the Temperance card reversed. And one of the things that presented with this was this turning up the dial, raising the bar when it comes to minimum acceptable vibrational matches, continuing to stay in the same space. Now, this is actually a big lesson that a lot of people need to learn when it comes to alchemy, right? We are graduating in big ways. I talk about this in the Emerald Tablets series that I did. I'll put a link in the down bar below. If you're interested in learning, about alchemy, manifestation, and law of attraction, going beyond just, oh, they exist, and going into how they exist and learning to really master them, I would definitely check those videos out. The Temperance card reversed is showing a movement, and yes, even a repulsion of things that are no longer a minimal match. So let's say before, certain connections, certain projects, or maybe certain normals or certain structures that you've had going on in your life were only maybe like a 20, 30% vibrational match with you. And because that's what the minimum was, well, that was allowed to stick. Maybe it was something you didn't like, maybe it was something you were so about, but it was allowed to stay in your space and stay in your life stream, even though you were only a 20, 30% match for one another. This raises the bar, and now it's like, no. This reality isn't going to be held together by 20% matches and 30% matches. This is getting dialed up. So now you got to be at least a 60% match or a 70% match, or else these realities are going to, of course, shift, right? It's that division of worlds experience that we've been talking about for years on this channel anyway, if you watch the incoming waves. And the Temperance card reversed is probably going to manifest in a lot of group splits. We talked about this last week, a lot of group splits, a lot of market shifts, a lot of market volatility, but also when it comes to any kind of alliances, partnerships, friendships, business situations, if you can't hold a vibrational match with something, it's going to leave. You can't force to have something be in one space or in another space when it's not a match. It's not as easy anymore. And this can actually be very, very liberating as well, because it's like, oh my goodness, all of that intrusion or interference from that which was only maybe a 20 or 30% match, gone. However, that get smart imperative here, now it's time to do that self-examination, right? Be a practitioner. Now I got to pay attention. Uh-oh. If I want to keep something, am I a good match for it? Am I a bigger match, a better match, a more exact match for it? Very powerful here, because this is also going to be revealing a lot of things, and I feel like we're going to, this is one of those things where, yeah, it'll probably be some collective revelations, things that we'll be seeing in the greater global sphere about how things really are in terms of what has maybe been held together artificially, what's been kept up artificially versus something that is organic or a natural organic exact match, or a higher or closer to exact organic match. This is setting everybody up to be where they are a perfect match versus, maybe being influenced by something based on a minimum match that is no longer acceptable. Very, very cool energy there. As we get on to the air sector, we talk about news, messages, changes in the air, new trends that are coming in. We've got the Death card reversed. And there is a reorganizing going on of what is in our reality experience, what is in our space, what is in our social space, and what is not. I feel like the Death card reverse is giving a twofold message here. So that which ultimately may have actually been kept out of your life by interference or intrusion, other influences, is having its chance to come back in, right? Maybe you weren't necessarily repelling it, but because you were in a family situation or a work process or a lifestyle decision or a romantic relationship where what you held in your environment was actually co-creating an experience that was repelling things out of your life, well, we are lifting all of that interference out, and you are able to have something that you didn't know you were supposed to have or that you knew you were supposed to have. The big challenge with the fire sector, or the big imperative, what is getting transmuted for the most part across the board, inorganic attachments. Inorganic attachments, things that are contrived, things where people are pulled off their real path into artificial timelines. I do see this on a macrocosmic level, yes, destroying a lot of collective mini matrices. You know, we talk about mini false realities like religion, or any kind of consensus realities that ultimately lock people in a world that's still not organic. I'm also seeing with this could actually be a clearing. I feel a big clearing going on for things that ultimately would have chained things that should be dividing together. So those binds are getting cut, those, love spells, those attachment energies, all of those things that kind of held inorganic realities together are getting completely dissipated. This may actually be a wake-up call for a lot of people. I do see this actually hitting people as a big wake-up call. But with the Eight of Swords, we also have to pay attention to self-imposed distortion, self-imposed discordant activity. If you've got a guilty conscience about any of that, focus on clearing it, right? Look and see, why isn't this sinking in as something that actually is in the highest interest of all concerned? Where might I be my own worst enemy with that Empress card reversed? Or where might I be an accomplice to inorganic or artificial reality creation? As we get on to the water sector, so now we're talking about the blend of emotions, relationships, and spirituality. Well, the Seven of Wands upright is indicating everything is getting whipped into shape. We have this big focus on everything pushing in the direction of truth and health. And with the Seven of Wands, I do feel, yes, for a lot of people, this is a week where those divine partnerships or divine partners are going to actually be getting on the move. Now, again, we're not sitting back like parishioners with our hands out. We are, of course, working to get into as high an alignment as possible, right? Be as high a vibrational match as possible, because that minimum requirement is up again, right? It's dialed up, it's upregulated. But with the Seven of Wands, this is also about getting things to be in their best shape possible for success. I do feel that this is also amplifying the purging of maybe tolerated or empowered or fortified dysfunctional activity, whether it's on an emotional, psychological, or relationship level. This is a great week for everyone who has kind of been tired of seeing that be artificially empowered. So that is what I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because y'all know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, y'all go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.